Cornering, I think, is one of the most challenging but rewarding parts of mountain biking if you get it right. And I often see people making the same mistakes. So these are the most common cornering mistakes and how to avoid doing them yourself. Taking your foot off too much can sort of rob you of your smoothness. If you're taking your foot off and hovering it in a corner, yeah, it's great for confidence because if you slide out, then hopefully you're not going to crash. You can just dab your foot down. But it's quite jerky if you're taking your foot off, cornering, and then putting it back on. With the flat pad, you've got to then try and get your foot back on in the right spot. Obviously, the clip, you've got the added sort of complication of trying to get your foot back in. So it can really rob you of trying to ride smooth down a trail. So try and save it just for the flatter, slipperier corners, a bit like this one. Going wide in a turn or overshooting it is a really frustrating feeling. Got a good section here, we got 1, 2, 3 turns in a row. And if you overshoot one, you're going to mess up this whole section. And this is normally almost always down to not looking far enough. So try and come in, look at where you need to be, gives you something to aim at and to come off the brakes and get on the right line. Hopefully you'll flow a lot better, because it's one of those really horrible feelings just going too wide on a corner. Don't be a sheep, don't just follow the main line. Because see here, main line kind of takes you kind of over that. And then you're going to land a super flat, loose turn. So if you've got a bit of creative thinking behind yourself, then you can go a little bit wide, come out round this tree stump. You've made a bit more space, you've opened the corner up, and it's going to be low, smoother and quicker. But with this one, I would say don't take the P. Don't go just railing wide on every corner because it can ruin trails. So go steady with this one. Not getting your weight low enough. To get the maximum grip from the trail, the lower the centre of gravity, the better. So on smooth trails, like this really nice smooth corner, you can lower yourself to the bike, literally drop my sort of chest down, drop your outside pedal and actually try and weight that foot as well. And that's how you're gonna get the maximum grip. Doesn't always work when the trail's rough. So if it's holy bumps, rocky, because obviously then you lose all that travel in your arms and legs to be able to soak up the trail. But when it's smooth, get low for the maximum grip. Cornering worse one way than the other. Now I think this is natural because people ride, a certain way foot forward, and they'll find one way easier to drop their outside pedal. So this is all about practice. If you can find yourself a bit of space, then just turn one way to the next and make sure you're dropping both outside feet. It's really common for people to do it one way and not the other. So it should look mirror image both ways. And if you can, get your friends to film it. It's easy to spot what you're doing wrong. Dragging your brakes mid-corner can be like a really annoying habit that a lot of people do. Sometimes you need to, but often I find myself kind of pumping the brakes. Without thinking about it, I'm going on, off, on, off. So what I try and do is try and concentrate on what I'm doing. Sometimes you can even see your fingers kind of in the bottom of your peripheral vision. And keep an eye on them. Make sure you're not just pumping on, then off, and try and modulate your brakes so they're smooth on and then smooth off. Your front wheel sliding and washing out that tyre is one of the worst feelings of mountain biking. It's often quite painful as well. And learning how much grip you've got, I think, is one of the hardest parts because it's never the same from surface to surface, day to day, bike to bike, tyre to tyre. It's all completely different. So having a good guess of how much grip you've got comes down to experience. But also bike setup can make a big difference in how much grip you can actually find. So things like tyre condition, tyre pressure, different types of tread, suspension setup, bar height, all need sort of check-in to make sure you can find the most amount of grip. Then it comes down to rider technique. So trying to get your weight low and to the outside the bike gives you the most amount of grip. Trying to come off the brakes so you're not braking and cornering. And really looking to the exit and trying to get those fundamentals of corners good. It's going to help you try and find grip. The final mistake is steering into the corner. Yes, you heard that right. I'm kind of being a bit daft though, the way I'm saying it. What I really mean is learning how to counter steer should be part of your mountain biking repertoire. It's hard to sort of show really, but it means steering the wrong way to get your weight going the other direction. This works really well in technical bumpy sections, even steep sections, when you know you're coming down towards a corner and you feel like you're not going to make it because you're going to find it really hard to get your weight over to get the bike turning. So what you then do, say I want to go that way and I can't get there, I'm thinking I'm going to go wide. If you actually steer the wrong way, your bike will go out from underneath you and your weight will then drop to the inside. So this happens really quickly, but it's all about trying to get your weight into the corner. And often I find myself in these technical sections where I just think, I'm gonna have to make sure my weight does the heavy work for me and the bike will just have to follow. So you can steer for a little bit and then you steer in once your weight is dropping and you can muscle the bike into the corner. There's what I think are the most common cornering mistakes, but if you have any and they're not in the video, leave them in the comments down below. I'll try and jump into the comment section and answer them if I can. But also, I could even make a whole video about it. So let me know your problems down below.